Hey, you lovely people. The last couple of days we have talked a little bit about Johnny Depp. So this is a sort of appreciation video considering that Johnny Depp is trending, right, in the media for all the good reasons, for all the right reasons, which we really like to see. Since what was it, last year that he was a film festival of Cannes, now to see him at San Sebastian Film Festival, it's actually pretty awesome. There is like a plethora of new images thanks to everyone here. Donostia webcam showing Johnny with his crew, with his actors for Modani Premiere. That's pretty awesome. So there is really a ton of videos circulating, which is very enjoyable because obviously Johnny doesn't share a lot of stuff in private or in social media, mostly things related to the work. And last night or the night before, they did the screening of Modi, 3 days on the Wings of Madness or something like that. And it received already a standing ovation, which makes me really happy, honestly, to see Johnny in his element of still being an artist and wanting to basically have at 61,
Johnny here,
starting
please.
a new direction,
Thank
right?
you.
I can really see Johnny Depp starting more a career now as a director slash actor, and I'm all for it. I'm in. I want to see what other movies Johnny wants to make. I've always been a big fan of him as an actor in the early days of his,
Thank you.
Jim Jarmusch movies, which were some of my favorite. Man, it's crazy how Johnny draws an audience. Like, it's just nuts. The audience he draws, considering that he hasn't had an Hollywood blockbusters for many, many years, but still the legacy and the name, wow. Like, people show up, especially in Europe, people show up everywhere for Johnny. Like, now after this, he's going to go in Italy. Don't forget that. Because this was the evening of the premiere. Plenty of wonderful pictures with the cast and crew. Mostly the cast, with some producers. It's really nice to see Johnny really doing well. Also, again, nice teeth. Hey, I'm going to the dentist too tomorrow. So it's very nice to see all those little details. Oh, look, this looks like an older jacket, maybe, like a similar style. That's pretty cool. There is plenty here. Him arriving. Look at this. It's nuts. Like everybody for Johnny Depp. Well, of course, it's a festival, so they're not just there for Johnny, but it's safe to say that a lot of people are there for Johnny for sure. This is what an incredible star, what an incredible artist he still is, that he commands such a audience. It's nuts. Here, Johnny receiving the standing ovation for Modigliani. Thank you here to the people sharing this. Red Sea Film IG. Super, super awesome. Ricardo Scamacho receiving the praises for his acting as the main character in Modi. I mean, what should we say? Like, I see that Johnny is venturing more in European cinema because he has a gigantic fan base, and probably it's also easier for him, for his type of brand, for his type of name, to get funding for smaller projects like this, right? To do more artsy cinema, so without the risks so much of losing money. This has always been the case in Europe. A lot of movies, smaller project directors, they get subsidized or partially subsidized. And since the budget are smaller, there is, let's say that they try to mitigate the risks of loss. But it's interesting in the way that this allows for cinema to be, different than the usual stereotypical blockbuster budget, in Hollywood. Matter of fact, so many great directors in Europe have thrived in France, And in Italy, in Europe in general, they've absolutely thrived with great cinema. Take Pedro Almodovar, just to name an artist from Spain, but also in France, so many actors like even for instance Kieslowski, which was a famous Polish director, moved to France, and he made also some at the time of my favorite movies. The trilogy of Kieslowski is a masterpiece, like blue, white, and red. If you have never seen it, it's just wow, tragic, beautiful, poetic. I love this type of cinema. I've always been a big fan. Also, Eric Romer. One time, I have a dream that I can make a sort of Eric Romer movie. I love the simplicity. At the time, they must have cost some money because obviously, still to shoot with the 35 millimeter cinema round wasn't easy. But when you see the simplicity of the movies, which they probably have inspired also movie like Before Sunrise, right? Which you have two actors interacting with some extra actors in a time span of one evening. And it seems that also Johnny Depp himself is sort of going in that direction with Modi, because this is a moment in time, literally a couple of days, 2-3 days in the life of this artist, which I love this type of snapshots of romanticism, right? Of romanticizing an artist in this way, to peek behind the curtains, at least probably done with research or whatnot, to try to capture the essence of what we weren't there to see of such a great artist of the past. So enjoy for the moment here this standing ovation. Thank you for sharing this with us. Actually, this is Johnny arriving at the theater. Totally sold out. People still coming in. Wow. We gotta find the shot from the front. Let's see if we can find the shot from the front. There are so many clips. This is the nice thing. Like, they're coming out literally there's a ton of stuff. Getting some Spanish red wine or Italian red wine. For all the lovely ladies out there which they want to indulge into more Johnny, there you have it. Look at this. There's pictures for days. You're going to be satiated for a little while, right? At least up to the next project. This is nice. Oh, where's this guy screaming like crazy, man? All right, let's try to find something else a little bit, maybe a little bit bigger, something closer. I was pretty sure I've seen standing ovation from another angle after the screening of Modi. Also, don't forget that when he was on this Spanish TV show right here, last couple of nights, I forgot the name of this TV show. I posted a lot of stuff here on my X as well. That break some records of viewership, and people nowadays don't even watch TV, and still the show pulled in like 2.5 million views. That's insane. That's insane. That's big numbers for Spain. That's big numbers also for the US nowadays in the TV of today. You know what I'm talking about? Considering people don't watch TV as much as they used to. This is all now. This is all press conference. This is all Johnny in all sauces, which is nice to see. And I'm so happy, man. As a fan, I'm a great admirer of Johnny Depp. I'm so happy to see him thrive, and all this shit is slowly, truly fading away. This man was never deserving to be tarnished. He had his demons. He had his problems, like many people. He went through his addictions. But he, so far as I know, so far as I see, he's been a good father, a good husband for quite some time. Then he fell. A lot of men fell. A lot of men fall in the trap or wanting to relieve the youth, or wanting that thrill of the fresh pussy. I said it. I'm sorry. All right, deal with it. And but he's a good man. He seems like a good man, and he seems like also a man that it's clean up his act much more than in the past. And I can only wish him the best to bless us with more art, because a Johnny Depp that does more indie cinema, that does more arty cinema, for crying out loud, man. That's it. I'm in 100%. I'm in 100%. I always love how the bodyguards, they really have to, they have to toss him around. Of course, they are on a schedule, right? So the bodyguards are there like to make sure that the fans don't take too much time out of Johnny, because he has literally to get somewhere. So that's why they're tossing him around. But it's also funny because it seems like that Johnny would probably just stop every 10 meters to talk to people. So that, because you cannot create that act, I don't believe it's an act, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they probably get instructed as well, like, hey, listen, like, try to drag me around to pretend that we are in a hurry so that we don't waste a lot of time, which is also possible because obviously the fans, they will want to indulge, and there's so many, you gotta draw the line somewhere. So maybe it's a little bit of both, but I think that most likely, in part, it's just Johnny that is just kind.
Love you, Johnny.
See, it's last, and they carry him around. He's just kind. He wants to try to please the people, I think he's one of the few celebrities that is this kind to his fans. Man, I hope I meet him one day. That would be so much fun. That's awesome. So now Johnny is opening also in, is opening Modi also in, I think it's in Rome, and he's receiving a Life Achievement Award for his career. And it's so great on the heels of also this is me, by the way, of this 30th anniversary of Bocelli, that he did the little cameo on the concert of Bocelli, which is, I think it's pretty awesome, honestly, that he did that. So Rome, Italy, and it's really closing the whole loop here. This is really nice because he makes a movie about an Italian artist. Italy awards him, which is a big deal because obviously Italy, it's also big in terms of arty cinema. After all, we had a golden age of cinema in the 50s, of the hyperrealism of Fellini and Antonioni. Some of the greatest cinema that you will ever watch, 8.5, you name it, La Bella Vita. Those are all movies that once in a lifetime you have to see. That's it. There is no escaping that. So it's nice to see that he's awarded, and it solidifies his presence in the European market of this type of cinema, where he has a huge fan base. And perhaps because the movie actually Modigliani is acted in English, right? It's nice that it has a European touch, but in the end, it is still a movie that wants to be popular in the States, and hopefully the States will manage to find a way to distribute Modigliani. Maybe that we haven't seen. Maybe this one right here. I'm trying to select some of the clips which they show a little bit closer, so that you can enjoy a little bit of reels of Johnny Depp. Man, he looks okay, man. He looks good. Seems he has a little bit of belly, but he's 61. It's totally fine. He looks very healthy. Looks much healthier. And starting a new phase. It's so funny because I saw his father pictures, And it's funny that in older age, Johnny Depp starts to look more and more like his father. It's so funny to see, actually. If you go check some of the pictures of his father, you'll see that in this picture, he really resembles a lot his father. That's really funny. This is some of the shots on the set of Modi. Man, am I looking forward to see this movie. I really hope it comes out here as well. A little bit of thirst for the ladies. I'm fanboying, man. I'm just fanboying. I had growing up, I had just a few artists that, as actors, that I really admired, and Johnny Depp was really one of those. You know, for me, Johnny Depp was the actor of the '90s. You know, more than Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt. So I really enjoy these movies very much. So you know, when somebody kind of, you grow up with him in that way, you know, stays with you throughout life. It's a little bit like bands like Pearl Jam, you know, Alice in Chains and this type of stuff, you know, stays with you forever. I love Pearl Jam. I love Alice in Chains. I love Smashing Pumpkins, you know, like they stay with you forever, you know. So Johnny's part of that personal kind of thing in art, right? I mean, look at this. I mean, just look at this. Look at the crowd there that is for Johnny, for crying out loud. it's like, it's fascinating to me. Just like a massive amount of people, just everybody screaming Johnny. That really tells you a lot about the public opinion, like what actually people feel like in Europe, you know? The support is massive. The support for Johnny is just absolutely massive. And pretty awesome to see, I have to say. I gotta use one of those pictures for thumbnail. I guess that's about it. There is like literally today there is like a gigantic number of videos coming out thanks to all these people that hopefully that you can also see who they are here. Like, I'm not naming all of them, but probably if you stop you can see the hashtags there and the hat. So thanks to all of them for sharing this with us. I mean, look at this. Oh man, that's a type of love. This is just like really like when you're constant all your life, you're in a certain way, right? And the people just love you. The people just love you. This is not something you can fake, right? There's just few artists like this. It's like also Keanu Reeves, you know, like it's just some artists that have managed to you know, to pave their path and stay humble and still reach greatness and great heights and still be so kind to their fans. And in return, they have a love that it's generational. You know, there's so many young people in the audience that they probably grew up with the later Johnny Depp, you know. I grew up with the younger Johnny Depp. I grew up with Johnny Depp with 21 Jump Street. You know, that's how long I know Johnny Depp, like how much I've been a fan. And then with all the indie movies before he became a megastar for the blockbusters, you know. So for Pirates of the Caribbean. But a lot of those young people probably grew with Johnny from Pirates of the Caribbean on, or Alice Wonderlands, you know, or The Chocolate Factory. So let's conclude the video. We look forward to see more Johnny Depp productions and movies. I think it's a direction that it's very well suited for him, because he started out as an artist of more like indie cinema, then went on to become one of the biggest stars on the planet, and still is. In this second phase, probably can afford himself to be, again, more artistic, right? Not be too much concerned about whether or not the movie makes 600 millions or 700 millions or $1 billion, because he has done that already. And when you have a smaller budget, you know, When you have a movie that perhaps is like, I don't know, 10 million budget, 15 million budget, if the movie makes 20 millions or 25 millions or 50 millions, it's already a great success also, right? Or even movie as little as, with a budget of 3 millions and all of a sudden they make like 7 millions or 10 millions. It's still a great success. You got the money back and you probably made a nice piece of art. So everybody wins in this direction, right? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reel of Johnny Appreciation. Subscribe if you want to. I'll catch you later in the next video.